If you've just clicked into this video, you're wondering what the hell Steve Davis is doing with a chess book, then it's from this book, Steve Davis Plays Chess. And I set my channel viewers a challenge to solve 7 problems from this book. So if you've not seen the first part, you've not seen the challenges, you've not had a go at the problems yet, I will put a link above there. So I do highly recommend you click on that one if you want to have a go at this challenge and to see if you actually can beat Steve Davis at these chess problems. If you want to just watch this video, you can do that as well. You will have time to have a look at the problems if you pause, if you quit with the pause. There's also a free PDF download with all of these 7 problems available from the description in the links below. So I recommend having a go at downloading those problems, and what you can do is you can take your time with the solutions, play around with the analysis a little bit, write down your thoughts, and then you can look at the solutions. So if you want to do that now, all the problems are in that PDF, so you don't even need to see the first video to have a go at solving those problems. Okay, so let's have a look at the solutions. How did you get on? I will tally a score. I will put Steve Davis on one side so you can see if you got these problems right or if you got these problems wrong. Let's have a look at the solutions. Sapir, I think it is, but Estrin and Moscow in 1946. So black is a piece behind, but there is a winning combination. Can you spot it? So first problem I thought was pretty neatly organised together. It was a nice and tight little tactic. And rook g6 check, king h2, and then queen d2 check, deflecting the bishop. The final rook can deliver mate. So in reality, the queen has to give herself up for the rook. So well done if you got this one. But how did Steve Davis do with this one? Well, Steve Davis got this one in under a minute. You know, super sharp, not just at the snooker table. So it's 1 out of 1 for Davis. Let's look at the next one. In the game, Alexander Bavinnik, Nottingham in 1936. Black had already a comfortable position from the opening. His next move dashed the hopes of the English spectators. What was it? So I felt a little bit shortchanged with this one, I've got to be honest, because it's just the win of a pawn, but winning the pawn's a win of a pawn. So the winning solution is knight takes, and after queen takes, rook takes, and then knight b4. And yeah, this does win a pawn. Sometimes in tactical problems, you're looking for more than just the win of a pawn. So apologies if this threw you off, but this is what Grandmaster David Norwood set Steve Davis. But did Steve get this one correct? No, Steve Davis did not get this one correct. He went with knight b4 first, and this is one of those situations, I think, where you just have to reverse the tactics around, the play around with the, the analysis and get the best solution. So let's go on to number 3. In the game Alekhine, Mufang, Paris in 1923, white was clearly better. He could capture the pawn on b7, but is there a tactic that would end the game immediately? Number 3, I thought was very, very difficult indeed. Not because it was a long calculation exercise, but because it was a quiet move at the start, which can be very, very difficult to find. So the idea a4 seems to work, but it just doesn't work on closer inspection because of queen c7. So the very, very subtle, very difficult move to find, I thought, bishop d5, and then we have threats against the black king, which we can combine the mating threats with the a4 push, eventually winning a rook. Really, really tough. But did Steve Davis get that one? No, Steve Davis did not get this one at all. He played the a4 move and then just went on to the next position. But he obviously missed out the idea of the best defense in queen c7. That was a tough one. How did you get on? Steve Davis is still at 1. He's at 1/3. So if you've got 1 out of these problems correct, you're level with Steve Davis. If you've got 2 or 3, wow, Magnus Carlsen. Right, let's move on to the next one. Nick found a continuation which left him with a clear advantage. What would you have played in black's shoes? Black to play in that position. Number 4, I thought was more doable. You don't have to find the full analysis for this one. You just have to find the right idea. And the right idea was the exchange sacrifice with rook takes knight on c3. Here is a sample continuation going into the pure endgame as near as possible. 2 rooks versus rook and bishop. And the idea here is that the bishop and the centre pawns is going to be better than the 2 rooks, and the pawns on the h-file are not really going anywhere. So if you saw that idea, well done, give yourself a mark, and let's see how Steve got on. Steve spent around 25 minutes looking at the bishop takes on e3 and knight takes e4. but it did eventually come around and see the idea of the rook exchange. So Steve Davis did get this one correct as well. So it's 2 out of 4 for Steve. It's white to move, and the question that you're set by Grandmaster David Norwood is it possible to win? Can white win this position? So the first of the 3 endgame problems then, and you didn't have to find an exact analysis here. You just needed to answer that question, can white win, and get, you know, the roughly the right methods. So yes, white could win this position, but only if they went with the king first. You move a pawn first in this position, it's going to be a draw. So if you did move the pawn, don't give yourself the correct answer because it's wrong. Black can try to be a little bit tricky, but white just keeps the opposition and uses the pawn as a reserve move to maintain the opposition and go on and promote the pawn. So well done if you got this one, but how did Steve get on? Well, actually, this one is a bit controversial because Steve had seen this problem before. Grandmaster David Norwood had showed him this problem previously when they first worked together, but they drank so much Foster's apparently that he couldn't remember that he'd given this position. So he didn't get this correct initially. He did the second time. But I'm going to overrule Steve there. He's seen the problem before. He cheated and he didn't tell David Norwood. So I'm going to say no, Steve did not get this problem correct because initially he didn't get this one correct when he first saw this problem. He went with the pawn. So Steve Davis is still at 2 on 5. Let's move on to the next endgame problem. White to move. What is the winning method? Position 6 is a triangulation method. And this is one of those endgame, techniques that you read in an endgame book, but you never really fully take on board, if it's anything like me. So yeah, you have to sort of waste a move in this position by triangulating the king. Then you're going to get yourself into a position where you can gain the opposition and promote the pawn. So this is one of those technical endgame skills that you could, most, I don't know, depends on your opinion on endgames. No. So how did Steve get on with this one? If you didn't get this one, then you're not alone because Steve Davis spent 3 days on this problem. 3 days on the problem and then gave up. Hats off to him, fair game. He kept persevering with the problem. He still didn't get the problem in the end. So Davis is at 2 from 6 problems with 1 to go. Every serious player should know this one. White to move and win. I don't know about you, but I've seen this one about 3 million times in many different books. So this one, you just push through with the middle pawn and you make a breakthrough pawn for promotion. So how did Steve Davis get on with this one? Yes, I think Steve Davis has seen this one before as well because he got this one correct. So that brings Steve Davis's final score to 3 out of 7. So you needed to get 3 out of 7 to equal Steve Davis anymore to beat him. If you want to push this further, there is a further 6 positions in the exclusive bonus PDF download. There will also be a video link from that, but that is only available to those who go on and support the channel by chucking in £3 and getting the extra PDF challenge. How did you get on overall? Did you get to Steve Davis's level or not? Don't worry if not. I thought personally these problems were very mixed. Like the last one there was very, very simple. The first one was quite doable. And then I thought some of the other ones in between were pretty difficult and sort of mixed difficulty overall. Thanks for watching. Take care.